Welcome to the second Pure PlayStation podcast. This is Jason Fry. I'm joined with Jeremy Peterson.
Hello.
Max Taylor.
Hello.
And Chris Harding.
Hello, my dears.
How's everybody doing? Now that we've got our audio problems out of the way.
Yeah, it's good to get off to a good start, and obviously I like to stand out a little bit, so that's putting a cheek in my dears, because I'm British. Yeah, been a busy weekend. Me and Max have been playing the new Spider-Man game.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Jason, you've not joined in. Care to explain why?
I have had another game that I'm reviewing, and I don't know. I think it looks good, but I'm hoping you can convince me. You and Max can convince me that I should be playing Spider-Man now instead of waiting for the inevitable price drop on Black Friday where it's half price or even less.
I don't think we'll wait till Black Friday. It's always a matter of like 4 weeks later, price drop, and then you walk through the supermarket and you're just like, well, what's the bloody point? It's the same every time. I paid top priced first day. I know it's going to fall down in price, but it's worth it, I think. And if you don't believe me, read my review. Shameless plug. Insert. Oh shit. No one told me we don't read the script out completely. Chris turns to look at the others, all crease laughing in their chairs.
Also, what did you think of it, Max?
His line. Oh dear. Yeah. Have any of you had the chance to read my review?
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah. I read it this morning.
Yes.
It's pretty shit, isn't it?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Actually, I told my wife, I said I read it this morning, and I said I know he finished the game around 2 a.m. He stayed up for a little bit longer. I don't know how long, 2-3 hours maybe, and then you wrote a whole review. And I said his review, when I read it, doesn't sound like a bunch of junk that mine would sound like when I was really, really tired.
Well, yeah, it was a quick turnaround to get the review out. It was so good, such a good game, and it looks as well phenomenal. Like Max, you've played it. Will you agree with me if I say at certain times of day, like you can change the time of day once you complete it, and I always have it on dusk.
Uh-huh.
And
yes. So
when you swing through and the light is low and it's across the buildings, it's like, wow, that looks mental.
Yeah, so I'm playing it on a standard PS4. I've got a big old 4K TV, but it's obviously not in 4K. It does look really, really lovely, and there were definitely points I found in the game when I'd be playing it, and I thought it looked great, and then it would transition to a different time of day, and it would feel like a whole new game, and I'd see everything sort of in a new light, and it would sort of cast a new kind of atmosphere on things. So it definitely, I think the lighting and the weather effects do a great deal for the sort of atmosphere of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's meant I'd sit there I say every night. It's been Friday night, Saturday night. I'd sit there and every like 20 minutes I'd turn to the mist and go, Beth, look at that. Just look at that. What? And then she obviously gets bored of it and just says, just shut up. But she just doesn't appreciate things the same way we do. And yeah, it is, it's a great looking game. And I can't remember the last time I sat up until 5 a.m. 2 nights in a row to play a game. It's not something I do very often. But yeah, so then I finished it. I thought, well, I've been writing the review in my head as I've been playing it. I'll just get it on the page and then go to bed. And I haven't actually read it myself. I had a quick skim through it at I think it was like 4 a.m. in the morning that it went out. And yeah, I had a quick skim. I was like, yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is the best thing they've ever written. Whoa, publish, go to bed. But I was high as shit. So I woke up quite late this morning. It was closer to the afternoon. I was like, shit, I did the review. Oh, I don't want to read it. No, it's probably just awful. I'll wait till someone else says. Let's just hope nobody reads it. So yeah, I still don't know exactly what I've written.
It's good. You did a good job. Don't worry. It's not some weird feverish rambling. Slightly, but in a good way.
Good.
You did
It's
it
the best way to write reviews. I'm not even kidding. Like, what was that VR game? The one you move really slow. Super Hot. I played the shit out of that high as well, and that was amazing. And then I sat and wrote with the review for it after finishing it, just constantly with a spliff in my mouth. Yeah, I'm a creative genius now. Ugh. In reality, it's just I'm too fucking stoned to get off the chair and go and do something else, so I end up sitting and writing a review for like 3 hours. It's productivity, and if the consumption of cannabis is not legal where you reside, we do not condone or endorse it. However, if you live in a place of tolerance, then light up. Just say yes.
I can imagine VR games.
It's not being approached by lobbyists. Just to make that clear.
I can imagine VR games even more captivating when you're stoned, like dangerously so.
Mm. Again, it's the reason I stayed at till 5 a.m. is because I was just like, fuck, I'm too high, I can't move from the sofa. I am just going to have to stay here and focus on this one thing so that I don't go and jump out the window and do something stupid. So it helps. It really, it puts your ass on the seat and you do not move.
Mm.
It's every school teacher's dream. But,
Probably a good thing you're not a teacher then.
Well, it wouldn't be the best. How are you today, little Timmy? Oh, very agitated. My ADHD is nuts. Have a hit on this. It'll calm you right down, lad. You will study for this test. Don't worry.
Can't believe how focused he's been.
Thanks, sir. Oh, this is 15 minutes in, and we've turned a dark path. It's not that dark. Come on, if Willie Nelson does it and he's all right, we're all fine. Let's not worry. But yeah, back to Spider-Man. Fucking good game.
Just to check, are we getting Snoop Dogg to be the guest on the next podcast?
Reach out to him. He is a fellow shoot. Failing that, I will try and get, I don't know, just some generic white man.
I know plenty of them.
With the,
I think we've already got a couple of those.
Yeah, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring.
What was that?
I'd like to throw my hat in the ring.
Jason, what do you want in the ring? Don't just stop at the hat. I want from head to toe. Throw it all in.
Speaking of disappointing visuals, how about them puddles in Spider-Man? Much ado about nothing?
Well, Max, do you have any thoughts on this?
The rain effects look very nice, and I've noticed some nice looking puddles. So I feel like it was just I'm pretty sure that those two images were at like a different time of day or a different weather cycle or something. It's complete nonsense. So if you're on the fence about the game, because of the puddle situation, you can rest assured that some pretty solid puddles are to be found. And there's also a lot of water surrounding the island, which you can swim in. So all of your aquatic needs have been catered to.
They have, yeah. The puddle stuff it's a non-issue. It's all right. When you go back and look at that trailer from E3 2017, the puddles are very big, very bright, and it's easy in such an environment to sort of lose what's going on. So it was an art, decision. Reduce them, make the readability easier. It's a problem I had in Infamous Second Son, where there's just too much going on because of all the reflections with the puddles and the explosions, and it's like, what the fuck? So it could have been that again, but it wasn't. They did what they had to do, and it still looks amazing.
Yeah. That's one thing. I never find Spider-Man is a very detailed game, but it never seems to get messy or clogged up, or the camera always keeps at a nice position. So I found well, for the most part anyway, in my experience.
Have you completed it, Max?
I've not. I've just finished Act 2, and I've done a majority.
No goddamn spoilers.
No spoilers. Divide into Act.
The internet there. Sorry.
Yeah, I planned to power through the main story, but I got too distracted by side content, so I've been attacking everything that pops up, every little marker on the map.
Which is weird, because I did the exact opposite. I was like, yeah, fuck this Ubisoft bullshit. I'm going through this story. Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah.
So now I want to get the 100% to match Kyle on some level in life. But it's going to take me forever because I didn't do any of that shit on the way around. I was like, oh, crime, is it? Yeah, good luck. People pay taxes for the police to sort this shit out. It's not for Spider-Man. He doesn't get any remuneration for this. He's on his way to see his Aunt May. They can fuck off.
A very cynical neighborhood Spider-Man just doesn't give a shit about anyone. Just gets from point A to B, goes about his business.
The idea of the game is that you can project yourself onto this person, and for me, Peter Parker is very relatable. Yeah. No one likes him. His job's shite, and it gets worse. No spoilers. And he's 28 years old. I'm also 28 years old. We could actually be twins, if you think about it. Yeah. So, I projected it onto Spider-Man. I was 28. I thought he was 28.
I thought he was 23, because that's how old I am.
I was 23 once as well, so
yeah.
I can still relate.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Obviously, I still look 23.
I'm sure.
I don't. I had a mystery shopper in work, and they described me as a tall man, brown, grey hair, age mid-40s. So I can't sit here and say, yes, 23 I look, yeah. Well, no, I don't. People see me walking around with my kid, and they're like, oh, nice day with Grandad. Oh, bastards. But yeah, anyway, what was I saying? I've forgotten. I've lost myself.
We spoke about the puddles in Spider-Man, and then you were saying about the side content.
Oh yeah, I didn't give a shit for that because, I project myself on Peter, there we go. So my Peter Parker is a bit of a twat. Yeah? Some fella was like, oh, I've lost all my pigeons, can you help me? I was like, yeah, no worries, mate. Swung around the corner, fuck off, I'm not doing that. No time for you, lad.
I wanted to ask you guys about Peter Parker, because I was reading your review, Chris, and I noticed that, Peter Parker isn't in high school. Did both of you like that take on the story? An older Spider-Man who's been doing this for a while? Was that more unique? What did you guys think?
As a pervert, I did miss the school setting. This is rated. Let's not get this into an R-rated piece of content. No, it was all right. To me, it made no difference. It was like I've watched the old cartoons, the good cartoons where he's not in school anymore. He's working at the paper doing his little snaps and all that. So to me, it was just like that. And the story, I'm not going to spoil anything. It felt like an extended, few episodes of that series. I think it was called The Amazing Spider-Man or something.
Yeah.
It was made in that late 80s, early 90s, I think.
Yeah, I think I know the one.
90s, yeah. Yeah, that's how it was for me. I don't care what Peter does. Because again, I project myself onto him. I tell myself this is just a side gig. Because on the sly I'm dealing drugs, so.
Yeah, I thought, we've seen origin stories so many times, so it's good that we just sort of got straight into it. It also makes a bit more sense when you're flying around and kicking ass and doing things super confidently, sort of thing, that you're playing as a much more experienced Spider-Man. And I think in the sort of context of the story, it opens up a lot more opportunities for it to sort of explore beyond just high school drama and all that. Him sort of finding out who he is, because he knows who he is, so he can explore more of his sort of personal issues and characters that everyone's familiar with, like Aunt May. Characters like
is on a slow brain mode today.
I am, yes. I'm my words are there, but I'm quite sleepy. I'm sat on a bed and it's
too much Spider-Man. That's what it is.
Spider-Man, yeah.
I'll tell you what I did
broken.
miss in the story. I did miss not seeing Uncle Ben get shot. So there's one reason I ever watch or play or read any piece of Spider-Man media. It's to see Peter break down in tears. Like, oh no, Uncle Ben. It's like, there you go, dickhead. This is your fault. Learn a lesson. For me, that's the pivotal point where Peter becomes Spider-Man. Oh, no, it's not.
Just want to ask you guys, because I know it's Sucker Punch, and you mentioned Infamous. How is getting around the city? Is it similar to Infamous? Because I always felt I never loved the traversal in Infamous. How is it? Is it vastly improved with Spider-Man? Did you guys think? How'd that go?
Yeah, it's not like Infamous at all. Infamous is like clunky, and it's very floaty, and it takes time to get about. It's slow, but in Spider-Man, you just go web go, so easy. Max, do you concur?
I do concur. Not to be a dick, but it's Insomniac, not Sucker Punch.
Oh no, I'm glad you corrected me. Thank you. Whoops.
And actually, going off that, a game that they made for the Xbox One, actually an exclusive, Sunset Overdrive, that the movement and the sort of flow of traversing the environment in that game, felt amazing. And the way that you sort of zipped around everywhere, you can definitely see that they've developed that sort of design philosophy into the movement in Spider-Man. So I think they've learned a lot of lessons from making that game. So that's definitely sort of paid off in Spider-Man, and it feels great, yeah.
And it's also not annoying as shit. Spider-Man does not annoy me. Sunset Overdrive annoyed me.
I did it. Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't finish it. I was like, oh, sod this.
I was having too much fun for it to annoy me. But I get what you mean with the overly colourful aesthetic and all the, like, bright, punky...
It's all the wacky people being wacky for the sake of being wacky, and it's
yeah.
Shut up, you walking meme. Yeah.
Fun though, but yeah.
Jason, I don't know if we're actually allowed... I think we can actually talk about it, because by the time this goes live, the embargo will have passed for Tomb Raider, because this will go up tomorrow evening, and the review goes out at 3 p.m. my time. So, if you want to talk about Tomb Raider a little bit...
Sure. Do you want to shift gears here? I was going to ask about the suits and everything in Spider-Man, but...
We can go back to that. I just remembered, I watched your review video before, good stuff, and I thought, oh shit, I forgot to share it with everyone. But I think now you can sort of give a bit more personal insight.
Yeah, since this isn't going to go live until after the embargo, I had a blast with Tomb Raider. I think it's amazing. I think what they've done with Tomb Raider is they've really advanced what Lara, depending on which conversation you're in, what they can do with her, and they've kept the core mechanics and they've improved it. And I've been thinking about just comparing her to Uncharted, and I'm got an idea for a piece on this, but just to say something real quick and then go back to the game. I think the gameplay is better than Uncharted's gameplay. Now, I don't think that the characters, I was playing through it and spending a lot of time with it, and I just thought this is more fun. I will say that the Uncharted, where it was the Chloe and the other one, they got right down to business, and it was just tombs. And I think that's another thing that Shadow of the Tomb Raider does really, really well, and I would say is the best part of the game, are the tombs. Basically, you go off the beaten path, you find these challenge tombs, and they're just giant puzzle rooms. And so you've got all this verticality because you can climb, you can move around. The rooms are just gigantic. The whole game is just enormous, and it's broken into little hubs. And so you've got some side missions that you can do, which are normally not bad. Okay, I'll just keep rambling then. So you've got these hubs, and there's typically a tomb everywhere in there. And so the great part about having this tomb is you go in there, and you can go in there. Hold on, I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, Max, you're not the only one who's having trouble with your words today. They're there, and I'm excited. So I'm tripping on my own words. But typically, there's some things you have to move or change in order to reach another point. But there's this mural where you will get a skill point of some kind. It's always really, really useful. It's something that it's either you gain health more quickly, you can breathe more underwater. But I love the tombs, and I'm not one for DLC. But I looked to see if there was some DLC for more tombs just because I was enjoying them so much. I did kind of wonder, though. I can't get an iPhone to last more than a few years, but we've got Mayan machinery that's, hundreds of years old, or these tombs and temples that are thousands of years old, and they're doing just fine. The doors open just fine.
That always gets me in Uncharted, like, oh, look, no one's been here for hundreds of years. Yet this massive, huge mechanism still works. It's like, bollocks.
Yeah.
Jason, I've got to say, I started giggling halfway through your little speech there, because it was literally word for word your review.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I know. More from my review, though, is I love the underwater sections. I was just swimming around. I'm not much for the pools or the beach, but I really love just swimming around in the world. It was really, really good. So many games put out water, and they don't let you swim in it. They just have it there. I know that Assassin's Creed is doing a really good job with, swimming through some water and that sort of stuff. But if it's there, why are you walling it off from me? Why can't I jump into the water and play around and swim down? I don't know, but it's less and less common. But the water is really, really beautiful. I really enjoyed that part of it too. I don't know if the story ever, like I said, there's so many ways where Uncharted and Shadow and Tomb Raider are kind of compared, and I don't think it's fair. I do think the characterization is better in the Uncharted games, but like I said, I don't think the gameplay is as good. I think Tomb Raider, especially with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, really knocks it out of the water.
Jason, sleep with one eye open, mate.
I know.
Saying that on the internet, fucking hell, you're brave.
I don't know. They've done some really interesting things.
If you think it's better, it's better.
It's the swimming.
The way it is.
You can swim.
It's the swimming.
Yeah, the water. I've got to say, from what I saw when I watched the review, and it's on YouTube, so naturally it doesn't look as good as the live presentation. It still looked really good, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I just called Spider-Man maybe the best looking game yet, when this one is coming out, I think September 14th. I think it's September 14th.
I want to say, I should know the answer to that. I don't. I think
you should.
Yeah, it's the 14th.
14th.
14th, yeah.
My brain works. Yeah, so that's another one to buy. It's an expensive month for us lot. Especially if you really want to buy and play all the new games, it's not cheap.
I've started to go into Black Friday mode, where it's like, well, can I wait? Can I push that one off? Because things are going to get cut in half and even more. So I'm like,
yeah, it's the premium price you pay to have it early, and if for some people that's a price that they are willing to pay. And they can pay. For others, like Max is a student, he's a poor lad. He has to go, around the neighbours to borrow everything. And, you can only maybe buy one big game every couple of months. So yeah, it's always, worth hanging on if you can, but try not to feel too jealous of those who don't have to. Life is more than games. Jason's with you in solidarity. I'm sat here with every fucking game ever. Some of them I don't even open. I just take them so that the little kid who's gone there with his birthday money, he wants this game. I pick up the last copy, buy it, take it home, put it in the fridge. That kid's learnt a lesson. Be on fucking time. I think we should probably turn this into Chris's motivational speeches and just sort of incorporate video games. You know how like motivational speakers, like people who are criminals, do motivational speaking. because then they bring their past career life onto the stage. Like, oh, I dealt drugs, but now I deal paper or something. I could do that with video games. I think this is something I'll explore as a solo project. Take some time away from the band, find myself, and I can't carry on. Fucking hell. It's a good thing not many people listen to this, isn't it? Like, come on. I don't even know how much the last one was or listened to or whatever. I haven't checked the metrics, but if I'm not getting a notification, 20, there we go.
Roughly.
I think we've got carte blanche to say whatever the fuck we want. So, I'm not worried about saying anything. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn is still shit. Can't get into it. And after playing Spider-Man now, it's like, I'm never going back to that game. I've deleted it, I've given up, I've written that off as 50 quid. Wasted. And nobody's going to care. Well, I think 20 people will care if they listen this far in. Chris is always the cynic. We all have a role to play, and I've chosen the cynic.
Let me take this as an opportunity to ask you then, and everybody else on here. So for open world games, Spider-Man is there. I'm really excited about this Assassin's Creed set in Greece. What is it about one open world game that you guys enjoy versus an open world game that you guys, just can't stand? I mean, what is the difference in something like Horizon Zero Dawn versus something like Spider-Man? Is it the main character and the story? Is there something in the mechanics that you like or dislike? What's the difference?
Who wants to go on this?
I think with Spider-Man, the traversal and just the sort of the joy of movement in it makes a lot of things that might be quite mundane in other games just feel like a lot of fun and not really feel like a chore to take on. So a lot of the side content isn't particularly great, to be honest. And in Spider-Man, there's a lot of pretty repetitive missions or collectibles, but completing them is usually pretty fun because moving around and just embodying Spider-Man is a lot of fun to do. Yeah, they don't really take their toll too much. And also a lot of the side content only takes a minute or two to complete. So they're not long side missions or big involved excursions that you've got to go on. Everything is pretty quick and easy to do. So I think it takes a lot of the busy work out of an open world game when it's fun and efficient to tackle its side content.
Yeah, something that always pisses me off with the Assassin's Creed games, and other games in general as well. So, Hero, but let's just call him Hero, needs to go and save Idiot, because Idiot has gotten caught, or something. That's the general, premise of the game. So, he wants to go and save Idiot. Along the way, some peasant says, "Oh, can you help me? I've lost my pages in my book." Yeah, no worries. Runs around a fucking field for half an hour, collecting bits of paper, comes back, there you go. Right, I'll carry on to Idiot. An hour later, someone, "Oh, I've lost my goats, can you help me?" Yeah, no worries. Idiot will wait. It's like, well, no, because in reality you'd be like, no, sod off, find someone else to do this. I've got a mate to save. Or the wife's been kidnapped again, I need to go and pick her up. But in Spider-Man, you don't have that crap. You have your story, and the side missions don't feel like they, get in the way of the story. Because in my mind, the story is always at the front, and everything I'm doing should be, going forward, not just going off to the side. And even though they are called sides content, whatever, I get that. There is an irony. It should still push you forward. That is my argument for this case to the judge.
Yeah. I feel you're always earning tokens or experience or something that contributes towards your progression. So you always feel like you're leveling up or you're unlocking something regardless of what side content you're taking on. That's in Spider-Man.
Yeah, the side stuff's alright. Like, to be honest, I looked at it and I was like, oh, here we go, collecting backpacks. This will be fun. But I kept on doing it because each backpack has like a unique item inside it. And then, Peter will say, oh, this piece of fabric was from when I battled against so and so and so. And it's just little nice little touches. that just make you think, oh, well done. I'll go and find another one. And you also need all of them to unlock one of the suits, so there's your motivation too. I reckon we should talk. We should poke the flames a little bit with Spider-Man, because we're
Have we not already?
Not really.
Do you not have a cynical drug dealing Spider-Man treatise so far?
Yeah, well that's it. In my Spider-Man, he's taking down the drug dealers because they're just competition. But what I mean is, I do remember writing something along the lines of this in my review, vaguely. It's an Arkham clone, and there is no shame in saying it. There's no shame in admitting it. Max, you've played the bloody game.
I have.
Arkham clone?
Well, yeah, I think Arkham definitely sort of laid down the blueprint for a lot of open world, third-person action games with melee combat
Max,
in them.
You're talking to people, you're not writing a fucking eulogy.
I know, I've just given some
Talk
context.
natural, yeah?
No, I know.
We don't need to, in 2012, Arkham, the fucking Arkham, I can't remember what they're all called, City, Night, blah, 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 blah. Come on, we're not on the news. We're just 4 or 5, I can't remember how many of us there are, men, grown men as well, talking about a children's entertainment product.
That's very true.
I'm going to put a pin in that and come back to that. But sorry, Max, I don't want to stop you.
Yeah, so a game like Mad Max I really enjoyed, and that definitely took a lot of elements from a game like Arkham, but it did it in its own way, and it sort of worked in the context of that world, and I think it adapted it in a way that was well suited to its world, and it felt right. And I think
that Warner Bros. Was the publisher of both.
That's very true, yeah. So that was a pretty easy step for them to do, but I think Spider-Man, it's sort of the logical way of doing it, I suppose. I can't imagine another way of designing the combat or the traversal or the kind of structure of a open world superhero game without making some reference to the Arkham games. I definitely think the combat is a lot more fluid, and it feels Spider-Man being agile makes a lot more sense than Batman sort of thumping around and like gunshot punching everyone with his big massive fist things, and
big manly hands,
big muscular body,
strong forearms.
Because in the Arkham games, as much as I love that combat system, he just sort of like magnetizes his way across the room.
Yeah, he ice skates.
Weird, sort of floaty way, whereas Spider-Man's always sort of bouncing off walls or jumping off enemies or like web-shotting across the sort of battle arena. So it feels a lot more refined, I think, than the Arkham combat system.
Yeah, but they still nicked it.
Yeah, they still nicked it, but games are an iterative process, so they all got to sort of build upon one another.
The thing I was thinking about when this came into my head was like, back in the day, all games were 2D side-scrollers. That's how we did it. It was the accepted norm. And then they went top-down. So like GTA 2 was top-down. And other games are doing the same. And then we went for full 3D open world with GTA 3. And then others basically took that and copied it. And it's fine. They make it into their own thing. You can still see GTA in Saints Row or whatever. And yeah, I think with superhero games, Arkham was the first one, so they all copy it. And there's nothing wrong with saying they're copying it, but they're doing their own thing on top of it, which is fine. It's just another way of doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
It made sense when it was in my head. I didn't know if it's going to make sense on the way out.
For the most part, yeah. Good brain-to-mouth communication.
Oh, it's a surprise, I tell you. Nobody else on drugs, huh?
Not currently, no. I'd be interested to see some other takes on superhero games. I can't remember who it is now, but someone is developing Avengers game of some sort, apparently. I'm assuming that's going to be some big open world game in the same vein as the Arkham and Spider-Man games. But I'd like to see some other take on superheroes. I'm not quite sure. Maybe more of a narrative focused thing, not necessarily like a Marvel heavy rain or something. but something that's not just a big open world.
Jeremy, you haven't said much. Chime in.
Yeah, I didn't play Spider-Man, and I probably won't play the new Avengers game. Just not a big superhero guy. But it looks pretty dope, and as long as the how he traverses is good, then I can see why everybody loves it. Because even for a guy who not big into superheroes, that does sound pretty fun. And I know everybody loves it, so I'll probably give it a shot.
Get it when it's cheap. It's definitely worth a play, I'd say. But if it's not your thing, it's not a must buy. Yeah. If superheroes aren't your thing, it's not a must buy. No, for me, it's not. I give it 8.9 out of 10. So it's fantastic, but it's not a must buy. Because if you don't really like the whole superhero thing, and a lot of people don't. I'm not particularly into it myself. The films I couldn't give a shit for. It's just like Spider-Man. Yeah, I like the games, but I wouldn't call it a must buy. Unless you're a hardcore Spider-Man person, then yeah, you'll fucking 10 out of 10 it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it's cheap, why not? Buy everything when it's cheap. It's how I can eat every week. Well, no, if someone's offering you cheap drugs, you walk away, because that is a sting. That's a sting right there. You will be flashed the badge and... Pardon?
Thank you for clarifying.
It's alright, I'm always here to give out advice,
Mainly pertaining to drugs.
This sounds like a weekly segment. Like the
Chris is
on how not to get... Yes. Yeah.
With the more you know rainbow going across.
Yeah. Chris's crack corner.
Hey, it's weed, not crack.
Okay.
Right? There is a difference. It's only when I lace it with PCP.
Big difference.
It's only when I lace it with PCP that it becomes crack-like. Did I do that? The thing is, when you do it, you can't remember, so who knows? But yeah, maybe we should have a little segment, right? 420 games. If I tell you what, no, unless it's from someone you know, then they're probably just trying to get rid of it because they want to get clean and have a nice life. You'll be helping them as much as you'll be helping yourself. So in that case, go for it. But if it's a random person, it's cops. They are gonna, get you. Bastards. Not really. I respect the police. Especially the German police. Nah. They're idiots. I don't like them very much. But yeah, it's not about video games now, is it?
Suddenly to talk about drugs and police hating, which is more of a...
Hey, it's not police hating.
Those are really popular topics, so...
Don't put words into my mouth, because I'll end up with a gun in my mouth, right? The Germans don't take kindly to police disrespect. They don't. They are.
No.
They're rough. Oh, right. Anyone got anything they want to talk about? Anyone passionately for anything? Or not?
Well, I can't believe any of you guys haven't picked up Firewall Zero Hour yet.
Holy shit, Jeremy, this is where you can shine. You can get some radio screen time here. Talk.
What? Buy the damn game. It's awesome.
There you go. There's a review. 5 words. Buy the damn game. Tis awesome.
Read the review. It's awesome. No, it's really good. No one here has played it, right? But me?
No, I'm still I'm still banned buying games, but Spider-Man was an exception.
I'll allow it. But no, it's it's cheap. It's expensive for a VR game, but it's super polished and just really intense if you've got the aim controller, which I definitely recommend.
Are you playing with people you know, or are you playing with strangers?
I'm playing with strangers mostly. Well, yeah, actually, I mean, I've played with a few people multiple times that I've met playing this game, but strangers. And
is it good? Are people generally quite positive, quite responsive and engaged? Like, oh, watch out, motherfucker, gonna pop you.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I have a theory on why it's so much different than regular multiplayer on PS4. With only 3 million headsets sold, player base obviously is super small, and you know, I mean, I played with a guy who was number 6 at the time in the world. I mean, if I played Call of Duty with he would have just tore me to shit, because in comparison, I suck hard to somebody that good. But no, these guys I haven't met anybody who was an asshole.
Did you get that guy's phone number? Is he going to send you any, internet famous stuff? Number 6 in the world. Come on, he's got to have a YouTube channel.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, again, 6 in the world is when there's only 3 million players total, and that's not even of that game,
I haven't played yet, have I? So
there you go.
Who knows?
No, it's the community's been really, really cool so far. I mean, sometimes you'll get in and nobody will say anything, but mostly it's 2 or 3 guys just having fun trying to.
Have you had anyone be like proper serious, like on me, motherfucker, on my 6? Have you had anyone like that? Take it far too far.
Yeah, but kind of in a pretty cool way where, if inevitably it turns out, they get killed because you weren't watching their 6 as tight as you needed to be, it's not as brutal as it was like in the old days with SOCOM and stuff like that, where they're like super serious. So it's a little mix of both. I think it's because the player base is so small. They can't afford to be a dick to everybody, because then they don't want to play with them.
And then, in Call of Duty, if someone sits there saying, "Oh, I fucked your mum," I will give back as good as I've ever given. Yeah, I will say some horrific shit back. And the thing is, I know that I can leave that game. I'll never talk to that dick again. But in VR games, and this happened to me in Werewolves Within. Yeah, I played it. Because it was a really small player base there. I played it, but I played it as a character. And Max, you will be familiar with Terry Tibbs, yeah?
Oh, Terry Tibbs, yeah.
Totally. All right, how's it going? All right, let's all play the fucking PlayStation. Yeah? And I played an entire match like that, like making stupid comments, and it's a TV character. It's very popular in Britain. Google it, you'll understand more. And I played in this character, and then I went into another game, and I was like, oh, that was exhausting. I'm just going to be myself and, just be normal, have a normal game for once. And 3 of the people I played with in the last match were in the new match, and you're all sat around, yeah? So you can see each other's username, or PlayStation Network name, whatever it is. And they were like, oh, Chris Dew. How are you? And I'm like, yeah. We played together. And they're like, we just played you in the last game. You sound different. And I'm like, oh, shit. Crap. So in VR games, you can't afford to be stupid unless you are very careful. There's Chris's advice for VR etiquette. Only be a knobhead in Call of Duty. Which I haven't played for a long time, so it's been a long time since I've given, I've sworn at a child. Well, online. I do it every day at home. Yeah, he's got to learn these words somehow, so I want him to hear them from me. The proper pronunciation. Not the German bastardized version. I'm a teacher, I'm a helper, I'm a healer. You are all welcome. Even though this is like radio style, yeah. I imagine that if anyone would be listening to this, they would imagine it as they're sat in a room, but I'm sat in the corner on my own, just chiming in like little.
And we're all sat across from you, just staring at you and giving you weird looks. like, how do you get in the studio?
Yeah, just wishing that I would be quiet. It's like, oh, is he on again? Is he? Send him to rehab again. Rehab is work, You go to work for 8 hours a day. That's 8 hours with 0 drugs. You've done your time. By the time you get home, you fucking deserve it. You're like, oh, God. Oh, this was terrible. I did so well today. I even left the house early, so it's a bit longer than yesterday. Oh. No one else has this kind of problem. Okay.
Well, misconstrued ideas about rehab are a good place to end it, I guess.
I think so. I think we've hit the bottom of the well tonight. And once
Good job, everybody.
Goes down.
Next time we'll keep digging further below until we get to the Earth core.
Look, we know we're not professional. Let's not try and be anything different. This is what I find hilarious. If I was sat on the bus listening to this on my way to work, I would be less inclined to kill myself before getting to work. Just hearing, a few lads talking bullshit about video games and drugs, that our target demographic is being catered for very, very well.
That's true. I think it's covered.
Right, then let's call it time until the next time we all get together, and we'll see what Chris is on next.
Working your way through the spectrum of drugs.
Alright, peace out, homies, and tune in next time for when Chris gives some bad advice. Good advice. I don't believe in myself. Right, bye everybody.
I'll be again.
Let's all wave into the camera.
Bye.